Hello and welcome everyone to the Studio Titan photo contest. I want to thank all of you for entering and voting over the last 3 months. We asked photographers, well, let me start off by what we're going to give away here. That seems like that should be a little more important. So we're going to give away three stands from Studio Titan. It's a great brand. We're going to start off with the 360 stand over here on the left. That's the camera stand that I use in my studio. Then the portable sidekick there in the middle, and then the rolling digital workstation there on the right. And over the last 3 months, we've had photographers enter their photos and ask their friends to vote. And tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to judge the three top vote getters in each category live. Then we're going to start off by critiquing the images. There are three judges. I'll introduce them in just a moment. We're going to score the entries at the end, and that will select the category winner. And then you'll want to stay tuned to the end when we figure out which one of the category winners wins which stand. Also, there is one more thing that you could do. If you follow this QR code or go to photocontest.johngress.com and click on register, you could win one of the three giveaways that we're going to do during this video as well, where we're just going to give away a prize to people that are watching. So it's a great opportunity for you to win as well. So just go ahead and follow that link right now, and we'll select people randomly in order to win a special prize, which we'll be giving away in just a little bit. So let me go ahead and introduce the judges. I am John Gress. You can find me on Instagram at John Gress Media. You also could find me on YouTube at John Gress, and I'm a commercial photographer in Chicago. Our second judge is going to be Yuliya Panchenko. She is a boudoir photographer from Orlando, Florida. You can find her at Believe in Boudoir on Instagram, and you can also find her at Yuliya Panchenko on YouTube. And our third judge, last but not least, is Jeff Carpenter. You probably know him as Ready Light Media, both on Instagram and YouTube. And he is a commercial photographer in Nashville, Tennessee. So let me start off by telling you about how I use Studio Titan in my work. I've used their stands, both their camera stands and their light stands, for the last few years. But I want to actually tell you tonight about their crank stands, which I absolutely love. So let me play this video for you from my studio.
Studio Titan 06200 crank stands for a few years now, and I absolutely love them. One of the great things about them, if I don't hit my head here, is that you're able to move very heavy lighting setups. This is a Manfrotto Junior Boom with a 190 centimeter softbox attached with a monolight in there, a 500 watt second monolight. So this whole thing is very heavy. It probably weighs in excess of 60 pounds, but because I've got this crank stand, I can literally just move it up all the way to the ceiling if I wanted to, and I can move it down with ease. It's really why these things are just such wonderful things to have in the studio, because you never have to worry about hurting yourself. I know that for the longest time, I thought, well, let me just muscle this thing up there. And what inevitably happens is you end up pinching your hand, or something goes wrong and you end up hurting yourself. And I know that there are a lot of photographers that maybe don't have the strength that I have, and they may have difficulty even considering moving things up and down that weigh a lot in the studio. And so having one of these crank stands is really invaluable. And the good thing about them is they're made so well that I'm going to be able to use them for decades to come.
All right, great. In case you didn't hear that, that was the Studio Titan crank stand STA06200, and I have two of those in my studio. So now we're going to judge the portrait category. We'll start off with our very first entry here. So one thing that I like about this image is just the overall framing and the way that we're seeing the model here in the shot. And I also would just say that maybe her eyes could be looking up in the camera. It might give us a little more humanity, but I do overall like the pose in this image.
Can I continue?
Absolutely.
So I absolutely love how the photographer accentuated that beautiful curve of the subject. I think that is her best feature, and actually it looks very beautiful, that curve of the body. Um, what is bothering me personally is her hand. I think her hand could be positioned a little bit softer, and the shadow behind her. It maybe could be a little bit. I feel like the shadow shouldn't be there at all because the lighting is very soft on her face. But I guess it's everybody has different vision, and that could be the vision of the photographer. Jeff?
Yeah, first of all, hey everybody, thanks for joining us. So I love this image. I love kind of the earthy tones that we've got going on. Like Yuliya said, the shadow bothers me a little bit, but that's completely subjective, and I can understand why somebody would add it there. I'm a big fan of a split background personally. I would maybe have split it a little bit different where the split of the line maybe didn't hit where her arm goes. That's kind of where my eye goes first because of that. But overall, I love the image. I just kind of love the overall look of it.
Okay, great. Now we're going to go on to our second image here. I really like the energy that we're seeing overall here with this great smile. One thing that I think could be space for improvement would possibly be to show the right hand. It usually bothers me when I don't see both hands, but that could just be my own pet peeve. I also like the way that the dress is flowing here and really filling out the frame.
Yeah, I like the mood of the image a lot. I like the playfulness of it and her beautiful smile. I feel like the backdrop looks a little bit overwhelming. Also, I think it's the texture of it actually adds to the overall mood, but maybe if it was a little bit toned down would look better. And also her legs are underexposed in comparison to her upper body that looks very bright to me.
Yeah, I love
Jeff?
I love the energy of the shot, kind of like they said, with the flowiness of the dress. Kind of gives you that vibe of movement. The background, I don't know if it is. It looks fake to me, but I actually kind of like that it draws your eye into the center of the shot where she is, but maybe defocus it a little bit. But overall, I love the shot. As far as the legs being lighter, I don't mind having them a little lighter just because obviously you've got a dress there that's, blocking some of the light. The fact that one leg is significantly darker than the other just kind of throws me a little bit. But overall, I love the shot. Kind of love the separation on her left arm from that kicker light. But yeah, overall, well done.
Okay, great. Now our third image here, I really like the general mood of this. Overall, it might be good to see a little more separation though between the arms, the biceps, and the background there in the lower half, but it's kind of a pet peeve. I also like the way that we can still see I like the way the photographer handled the catch lights in this situation. It just preserves a little bit of sparkle there in the eyes.
John, do you think those catch lights were added or those are real catch lights based on the lighting positions?
That's a good question. Well, now that I'm looking closely at the structure of the face and the catch lights, let's see. The catch lights are from the top right, and the prevailing shadow is butterfly. Is it from overhead center or is it slightly off to the?
It looks pretty overhead center.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. It could be that they aren't real. Sometimes I do fake catch lights though. So I'll leave it to you to judge then.
I really like how the photographer accentuated the jawline and cheekbones of the subject, making it look really, giving it really strong and masculine look. And I think his facial expression, I really love how he is staring at the camera with so much confidence, and it goes well with the overall pose. I feel like if there was an age lighting on his arms, would give a little bit more dimension to the image. Overall, I like it.
Yeah, I love the kind of the grittiness of this shot, and what clearly looks like it was a one light portrait. I'm a big fan of kind of utilizing single lights, but obviously if you added the kickers, it might give you kind of another extra dimension where you'd kind of start to really shape the chin too. I don't know what sport this is. Maybe I'm just living under a rock and I don't know of a sport that you need shoulder pads and a baseball bat. I'm usually kind of a fan of keeping things where it makes sense, where it's like, if he's a football player or something. And again, I might not know what sport this is, and I might be just sounding like a complete fool. But overall, I think it works as a really good prop. It makes for a nice pose. I definitely wouldn't want to mess with this guy. But yeah, overall, I like the kind of the grit. It really pops.
All right, so I know this is out of the format. I'm gonna say that I think I was wrong about that shadow detail under there with the biceps. I think it's fine the way it is. And to answer your question, I think this is an homage to a Bo Jackson Nike ad from the 80s where he was playing two sports. So maybe this is a senior where he is a two-sport athlete. That could be.
See, all right. See, now it makes more sense. I take it back. And now I like the story. It's
okay. Well, good. All right. Well, let's vote on the three of them. So we'll start off here with the leaning over portrait. I think I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give this one a 7. How about you, Yuliya?
I think I'll give it a 7 as well.
Great.
Man, I feel like a real jerk now. I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay. Well, an overall score of 20. Let's move on to our photo here in the middle with the big smile, the vertical photo. I'm going to give it an 8.
Oh.
And Yuliya's giving it an 8, and Jeff's giving it a 8. Okay, great.
There it is.
Overall score of 24. Perfect. And let's go for the third image here, our Bo Jackson portrait. I'm going to go 9. Yuliya goes 9. And Jeff also goes 9. Giving it an overall score of 27. And that image, therefore, is our category winner. So congratulations to the photographer. That is great. And if you remember earlier, I talked about how you could win just by watching the broadcast tonight. You can do it by registering at this QR code or at this link. If you go to photocontest.johngress.com and click on register, and we'll pick a photographer randomly, or a person who's registered randomly, to win our next prize. So my website, the Academy with John Gress, is an education platform where you can find scores of exclusive tutorials that are basically watching me shoot and also going through different topics. And one of the great things about the Academy is that if you register and are a member, you can participate in 2 live monthly Q&A and critique sessions where we get together in a small group and we talk about, I critique people's work, usually and possibly anonymously, although people usually out themselves, or we also can just sort of work through a problem that you might be having, or I could answer a specific question that you might have. If you don't win the giveaway, you can get 25% off by using the coupon code NEWYEARNEWYOU. So if you want to find out more information, just go to johngress.com/academy. And now our dear friend LAR has assisted us here tonight and put the winner into the slideshow. And they are, oh, not this winner, LAR, sorry. Can you go back to the main slide deck? There we go. So Verbose Photos. That is our winner. So we will contact them and give them their award. Perfect. All right. And now we've got a video from Jeff.
Jeff Carpenter with Ready Light Media and Next Level Workshops. And today I want to talk to you about my favorite stand that I have in my studio, which is the Studio Titan America portable sidekick. Technically, this isn't really a light stand. It can be used as just that, but it's actually more of a tether station, which I love because I'm tethering 99.9% of the time whenever I'm shooting. So I want to just kind of break down what this stand is and what I love about it so much. So it's kind of like your standard Sidekick, which is just the light stands that have these grip arms on them. But this one has the ability to, you can put a tether table on it, you can put a, something where you can put your camera. It also has a little tray you can put some knickknacks in as well. But the coolest thing about this thing is that it actually can break down, and it's actually remarkably portable. In fact, I just brought it to a job with me recently that was kind of a volume headshot job at a company here in Nashville. It's got 3 main sections. So it's got the legs down here. It's got 2 other sections that just screw into each other, and it gets it to about this high. I actually have an additional section that makes it even higher in case I want to throw a light up top and just use all-in-one stand. But speaking of all-in-one stand, the thing that I actually really love about this is that it allows me to keep everything very clean and neat when I'm shooting. So before I may be, put a 15-foot tether cable in this camera here, my laptop is over, by my computer on my desk or something like that, but that just allowed the opportunity to trip on a wire or anything like that. So what I do here is I actually typically I'm just using just a little 3-foot tether cable here. That just runs from my camera to my computer. So it's a nice clean station. It looks a lot more professional. And just the fact that I can bring it with me and not just keep it here in my studio is something that I really love about the Studio Titan portable Sidekick.
I think it's a great solution for all the headshot photographers who shoot on location.
Yeah, it's great, and then, like, the bag's only like this big. I mean, it's really small, and it's not that heavy either. I was actually really surprised when I first started using it how, like, just generally how portable. I know it's in the name, but how portable it really is.
Yeah, I love that. I have that stand as well. And I also like using it as a light stand or the light stands that are very similar to that. It's just great being able to move your lights up and down with that pistol grip and get them exactly where you want. And on a clamshell setup, you can even use it so that one light's on the top and one light's on the bottom, and you're just using the same stand, and it's super easy, and you can roll it in and out wherever you need it to go. So I think I think you'd like to, right?
I was joking. Perfect. I really don't care.
Yeah, no, we're good. All right, let's go on to the next thing. So now we're going to judge the product category. And Jeff, you'll be leading this one. So
yeah. So again, I'm Jeff Carpenter with Ready Light Media and Next Level Workshops. I am a portrait and headshot photographer based out of Nashville, but I sometimes shoot products as well, which is how I got roped into being the MC for this category. Yeah. So do we?
Yeah, just click over here to the first.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, first image.
Cool. Yeah. So I love this. I love a shot with water. They're typically very hard to do. With this one, just looking at it straight off the bat, though, it says Gucci Guilty. I'm pretty sure. I think the lighting, there's a couple highlights in there that make it a little bit hard to read the writing, which in product is kind of the number one thing you need to be able to do. The nice thing about product photography is you can always go in and just kind of edit that out very easily. It's not like you have to reshoot the whole thing or anything. Overall, really well done. I love the kind of the gold tone. Yeah, I think it looks great.
All right, well, let's go ahead and have Yuliya take a second shot at this one. Hopefully you leave something for me.
I'm not a product photographer, but as a consumer looking at this image, I really want to buy this perfume. I really like the monochromatic look. The tones of the image are very, very beautiful. And the composition, I like the lines going from one corner to another, the position of the bottle right in the center. So I like it. I'm not sure about the lighting. I think, Jeff, you can talk more about it. But overall, again, as a consumer, I really love how the product is displayed.
Great. So I like how the photographer stopped the movement of the water here. I'll agree with Jeff that I think that the text could be edited in post so that we only see black and we don't see any of those highlights happening there, as particularly on the brand name and the eau de toilette part at the bottom there. But I like the way that the edge highlighting looks in this image as well. And now for image 2. How do you feel, Jeff?
I love the composition in this one, kind of with the cylinders and the balls. It's a great prop to add. All in all, it looks great. I can't tell if this was converted to black and white after the fact. It might just be that it's all silver, but it seems like it was converted to black and white. For a product shot, I would typically not do that just because you're trying to showcase the product in itself. But I love the composition. I even love that the top one is cut off. It kind of completes the image from top to bottom. And then the kind of one on its side looks great. Just the composition all in all I like it.
I like the whole geometry that is happening in the image. I like the straight lines, the circles. I like actually the monochromatic look of the image. And the only thing that I feel, and again, I'm not a product photographer, so it's really difficult to judge for me, but that the center, the object right in the center, I feel like it either should be a little bit closer, or and Jeff, you mentioned that it shouldn't, like you like the cropping of it, and I feel like I don't like it. I feel like it's just cropped somewhere where it's not supposed to be, because I feel like that object should be a center of my attention, and it's not. I don't know. It's just my first perception. The one that is in the middle. Also, the composition looks really great. And again, that whole geometry that is happening in the image looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think we're probably gravitating towards this image because it's following along with the rule of thirds. The logo for the company on the front left product here is basically at the intersection lines between those the left third and the bottom third. So that's probably what we might be relating to. I'm not quite sure if it's black and white. I tried to play with it here on my iPad a little bit and change the saturation and boost it up, and it did go kind of magenta, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So I know what you mean there. Yeah, I really like the way the photographer handled the vertical highlights from the modifier here, just this edge lighting or these reflections that are in there. So I like the image overall. Let's go to our third photo.
I love the color in this one. I'm a big fan of shadows as well. So I kind of like how they shot it and then kind of cast the shadow, almost like a gobo effect, onto the background. If the shadow density kind of could have remained from the bottom where the shadow from the red card is on the blue, if that could have kind of been the same kind of shadow density from top to bottom, that would have been really, really nice. And then maybe just clean up the bottom left where it looks like a wrinkle in the paper or something like that. But overall, I think it's a really unique shot. I'm not totally sure what the product is, but it's a really cool. I think it's a really cool looking shot. I love I love the colors, and I love the shadows, and I love kind of the depth it has.
Yeah, I really like how photographer created that three-dimensional look and the shadows. I love the blue and red colors, but I'm not sure about the dirty pink color. I feel like maybe if there was a different color, it would pop even more and look better. But again, it's a personal vision. And I agree the bottom of the image could be cleaned up.
Yeah, I do appreciate the color harmony in this image. It's interesting you mentioned that pink color at the bottom. I actually didn't quite notice it at first. I'm not saying that I guess I was focused on other things in the image. Maybe having this, maybe having it also be blue would have been great. The bottom of this item, the wood base, it feels a little bright to me. I agree with Jeff with what he was saying about the shadow density on the wall being uneven. So that is something that might be able to be addressed in post. But I do like the way that the photographer handled the highlights on the bird at the top of the frame. Although I do kind of think that the red card should probably be a little bigger. Well, the reason why I'm saying that is I think there should be red on the right side of the image. That the brown wood should not go off of the red card, that there should be some red there on the side of it. That's what I'm thinking. So from our perspective, I feel like the red card should just be a little bigger. All right, so let's go ahead and score these 3 images. So we'll start off with the one on the left. I guess I better pull up my score here. I'm going to score this image an 8. Oh, well. And Jeff is going to go. Okay, I went 8, 10, and Jeff went 9 for a total of, this is live math on TV, which is not supposed to happen, 27, which is never a good idea. Now let's score our next image here here in the middle. I will give this image an 8. So Yuliya is going 9, I'm going 8, and Jeff is going 8. Okay, so that is
figure out where to put this thing.
so that is a 25. And now we'll go to our third image over here on the right. And I'm going to score this 6. Yuliya is going 8. I knew we were going to be all over the place on this category by listening to our discussion. So that is 23. So that was 27, 25, and 23. So the winner is the gold perfume bottle on the left. Fantastic. And if you're interested in checking out any of the Studio Titan gear that we're talking about today or that we've been using and loving in our studio and also giving away today, you can go to studiotitanamerica.com and check out those products. So let's go ahead and go to our next segment. Oh, also remember, we're going to do another giveaway here. And if you want to, remember, you can follow the QR code or go to photocontest.johngress.com to register. And that will allow you to get into our giveaways. Probably won't work for this one, but we'll have one more giveaway and you can register now in order to get in on that. So let's talk about what Jeff's giving away today.
Yes, so I'm giving away my lighting e-course. I know it's hard to see what this is. If you go to nextlevelworkshops.com, scroll down to the bottom, it's my kind of learn lighting in 1 hour. It's a 1 hour kind of crash course on lighting, gives you all the fundamentals you could possibly need. So you can add those and go create awesome images. And also just today only, literally, I made it end tomorrow. I'm going to do 75% off that e-course as well. So if anybody wants it, go check it out. Yeah, so that's that. It's a fun thing. Love me the lighting fundamentals. So that's what the course is. So go check it out.
Perfect. Let's go through here and see who has won this e-course. And that would be LL Graphics. Fantastic. Congratulations. Now we'll move on to a video from Yuliya
Panchenko, and in this video I'm going to talk about professional camera stand 360 MK2 by Studio Titan. I love this professional camera stand because I can simply put my camera on the stand and focus entirely on my subject. Focus on composition, framing, details, posing, lighting. So pretty much it helps me to perfect my images, especially when I'm working longer hours. The stand has 2 plates place on each side of the horizontal arm. So besides the camera, I can also place my laptop, for example, for tethering, or I can place two cameras and capture both still and motion during the photo session, or I can place a light on that side. So it pretty much creates a great control station in one place. This camera stand has a very unique feature. It has a system with 6 ball bearings that helps me to move the horizontal arm up and down very, very smoothly. So I can bring it all the way up and all the way down very, very smoothly, and the same with right and left. Another unique feature that I love in this professional camera stand is the measuring scale that helps me to keep a track of my setup and then recreate it later. The stand is easy to move around the studio. It's absolutely safe, it's easy to use, and it's a great investment for all studio photographers.
Great. I've been using my stand. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say I absolutely love this stand. It's so easy to use, and it's especially when I'm working for longer hours now, because I don't hold my camera, I remove all the pressure from my back and I don't have back pain. So I know many photographers can relate to that, because holding a camera for longer hours affect our posture in general, and also affect our health, I guess. So it's a great solution for that as well.
That's funny. It makes me remember that one time I was shooting for 8 hours straight, and I had to shoot like 5,000 frames that day. And I was like doing hand exercises between models because I had 40 people that I had to shoot, because my hands were cramping just holding the camera up. Yeah. Then the counterweight in the stand.
Usually after the sessions, also my wrist is hurting for a couple of days, especially if it's a longer shoot.
Great. Yeah, and the counterweight in that stand makes it so easy just to go up and down. And I can imagine that horizontal movement being so great for the product photography we just looked at. But now we're going to look at some boudoir photography, which I think might be Yuliya's specialty. So let's go ahead and go back to our slideshow. And again, let's look at the first image.
Let's look at our first image in the boudoir category. All right. What can I say? Fine art nude, specifically that style, is my favorite style. But what I see in the image, my attention is drawn by that brightest area in the image, which is her hand. And the ideal area where I think that should be mainly highlighted is the curve of her hip. Also, in general, the highlight of the arm is very strong. I think that could be adjusted, I guess. And if in general, this pose, focusing on that part of the body, creating beautiful shapes is very difficult. So it's not going to work with every single model, I would say, because I tried with different subjects. So what helps in that situation is pushing the hip all the way to the side where the light is. And it seems like the subject is pushing the hip the opposite direction. Also, what I can barely see that actually there is a story going on in this image, and the subject is pulling the underwear slightly, which is not clearly visible. So I think that area could be highlighted as well. John or Jeff,
all right.
Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you bring up that part about the story, because I looked at this on my desktop computer and I didn't even see the underwear, which maybe says I need to calibrate, and I barely see it here on my iPad. So maybe bringing that up a little higher would help. As for the edge lighting, I totally get what you're saying about having the brightest part being the hip, that we want to look towards the curves of the body. So maybe moving the edge light source further away would allow for it to be more even overall. I do like the story in the image. I would just like to see more of it.
Yeah, I'm just going to preface this by saying this is totally out of my ballpark here. But I think I love what they're going for here. I think it's a cool looking shot with, that kind of the fine art nude look. Yuliya, you were mentioning that the hand is the brightest part. To me, it looks like her arm, like her whole right arm is really just like the brightest spot. I think with the shadow contrast from the left hand, that you kind of do get drawn up to that. I think it's a beautiful shot. I think it's maybe a little more bend in the right elbow, just to give a little bit of something there would be nice. But overall, I think it's great.
Well, I'll agree. This is
bending the elbow. Sorry.
I'll agree. This is out of my league too. But everything.
Okay, John, you go first.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. I will agree that I'm a little out of my league too, but everything I learned was at Yuliya's workshop. And so I'll defer to Yuliya. I'm glad that she told us what to think on this. Also, I'm glad that you have the same camera stand as I do, so that when I come to your studio to do a workshop, I'll feel right at home.
I think I have all the equipment you need, John. You don't need to bring anything except for your camera, which
maybe not.
Yes. It's a different story. Okay, let's go ahead and vote.
We vote or now, or we wait until the end? We wait until the end.
Vote at the end.
So let's just keep format here.
Yes, sorry.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Let's move to our next image. So I like this soft lighting on the subject, but it's a little bit confusing to me whether this is a boudoir shot or glam shot, or it's a beauty shot. My attention is drawn to just one part, and that's going to be her breasts. Although let's say if it's a boudoir shot, the main in boudoir, we focus mainly on the subject's body curves and shapes rather than face. But here, it looks more like a headshot or like a glam shot. So my attention should be just on her face. But because she's not wearing a bra, I feel like all my attention is only on her breasts. And also the missing catch lights, that's another thing that I noticed in the image, and the choice of the dark backdrop. I think if it's more of a glam style, then it should be maybe a different color or slightly brighter.
Well, I was definitely looking at her face and at her eyes. I wasn't looking lower. But I did notice the catch lights there were missing. So maybe adding those, just a little sliver of fake light at the top could help, or also just moving the modifier slightly towards the camera and tipping the part closest to the camera down a little bit would get that reflection in there. I have learned recently that it's said to usually avoid showing the back of the hands, particularly on women's poses. So just rotating that hand a little bit would probably be seen by most people as a more proper way to do things. But I do like the way that the retouching is handled in this image.
Yeah, I think the overall shot, like me being a headshot photographer, I like the composition. But then again, I like what Yuliya said. It is more of a headshot than it seems than a boudoir shot. One thing I do notice is the crooked necklace. That I don't know why that jumps out at me. Catch lights, big one there. I think with the tattoo kind of under her breasts, either hide it or show it more. It's kind of it took me a minute to kind of see what it was. But overall, I think maybe a little kicker light too, just to separate her from that background. Her left shoulder's kind of fallen in the darkness a little bit. But overall, like John said, I think the retouching's great.
Do you think the highlights should be a little bit stronger, like just a little bit, for her to pop?
Maybe in the upper half of the image rather than the lower half. It's maybe if her face had brighter highlights, that would draw us up more. If we're supposed to be drawn up.
All right, let's move to our last image in the boudoir category. So I can definitely say there is a story going on in the image. It's probably a photographer who, because she has a camera next to her, who is being photographed maybe by another photographer friend. So I like that there is a story in this photo. What I don't like is the busyness of the image. That blanket with red and green colors seems very distractive to me. It also gives me a vibe of Christmas. The subject is very close to the wall and it makes it look flat, and overall the lighting looks flat as well. John?
I do appreciate the story too. Perhaps having that lighting more off to the side or more at an angle rather than so head on might have resulted in not having that highlight in the upper left-hand corner of the frame. But that could be fixed in post by just sort of, by using maybe the generative fill tool or something, but or content aware fill. But that would be something that could improve it, as well as using the remove tool maybe to remove sort of the it's hard to explain other than showing it here, but there's two pieces of lace sticking up from the garter that maybe could just be removed so those aren't overlapping the left leg. That might just be something to help.
So I love the story here. I think we've all can agree on that. I actually kind of like that. It's almost seems like almost seems like it's a Polaroid or something like that. I don't know if that was the intention, but it kind of gives that like almost on camera, very flat light, hard light look, which plays into kind of like the 70s, wood panel wall. And that very well may have been intentional. And if that's the case, I think that it really works for this, as far as kind of really rounding out the story with like the theme from the decade as well. But yeah, I think like just for me, like the highlight in the top corner kind of bothers me. But again, if that was on purpose, then that's okay. The red and green does kind of scream Christmas, but that's maybe this was after a holiday party. Who knows? We don't know the story.
Yeah, maybe that was happening during the Christmas season, so who knows? But I wanted to add that there is an object on the floor that seems very distractive. Since you don't really know what that is, I would definitely remove that during the photo session or in post. I don't think it belongs there. And if I turn this image into black and white, I think it would just look much better to me. Maybe just because I love black and white photography, but it would make it look less busy, I think.
All right. Well, hearing what both of you said, I think, Jeff, I'm prepared to score it higher because of that Polaroid idea. I think that is probably what they were going for, and I didn't really get that. And Yuliya, I think what you said too about that stuff in the foreground, I wasn't sure what it was either, and I just wasn't sure. Interesting. In black and white, I can see what you mean.
Can we see?
Well,
Yeah,
it needs more
vintage
contrast than what I
black and
did.
white.
Not that people can see, but yeah. Yeah, so.
We can add. All right, let's. I think that's the time to vote, right?
Let's
I
do
was
it.
a little bit ahead. Okay, so
So
we're
we
gonna
do
move
all three,
to
yeah.
all our 3 images. So let's vote for image number 1.
All right. Yuliya is a 6, I'm a 7, and Jeff is a 7 for a grand total of 20. Perfect. Image number 2. This will be easy for me. All right. We got a 4, a 7, and a 6. Okay. That would be a grand total of 17 points. And now we'll go to image number 3. And we're going to go 5, 9, and 9 for a grand total of 23. So image number 3 is our winner. That's great. Now we're going to do one more giveaway here. I believe that's what's next. And I'll give a little more time for you guys to hit the QR code and also go to photocontest.johngress.com and click on register and fill out your information. So pretty soon, right after this giveaway, we'll decide the winner of each one of the camera stands. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm going to now toss it over to Yuliya so that she can tell you about her giveaway.
And our giveaway is a 1-year BIB membership. So BIB, which is Believe in Boudoir, is one of the largest boudoir photography platforms with over 50 courses on boudoir and nude photography. So the winner will get an access for 1 year to all our courses on the platform.
Wonderful. Okay, let me pull up the winner then. The winner is Shakan. So we will contact them and get them their Believe in Boudoir membership. That is perfect. All right, so now we're going to do our big giveaway, and we're going to give away these 3 products from Studio Titan. Again, if you want to look up these products and get some for your own studio, just go to studiotitanamerica.com and check them out. These really are well-made, precise products that I love using in the studio because it just felt like when I started using the camera stand that it was as if I had something that was built for NASA. Like it just seems so extremely precise and well made. And as Yuliya said, it's a joy not to have to worry about holding the camera and, you know, hurting your back all day and that sort of thing, but also just having easy access to your laptop and being able to tether and see what's going on and having the basket there for accessories like maybe a color checker or a light meter. So it really works out great. And that is the 360 stand there on the right. And then we've got the portable sidekick stand. This thing is great because you can use it in your studio. You also can pack it up in the bag and take it on location and just keep things moving. It also offers the laptop stand, a place for your camera, and a basket as well. And then the portable.
Can I butt in?
No, absolutely.
I mentioned in my video, the laptop stand has these like locks on them. So you can literally like your camera, your laptop won't ever fall off. It's like it's like a conical thing and it locks it in there and you can like literally tip it upside down and it won't fall off. That's all.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I use those too on my stand. And then I also sort of accessorized mine by putting some Velcro on the bottom and attaching I think it's a 3 or 4 terabyte hard drive. And then I just run Time Machine all of the time to keep a good backup going of what I'm shooting. And then in addition to that, I've also attached a small rig 99 watt hour. I believe that's what it's called, watt hour. The watt hour part is what I believe. I'm not sure about, but it is from Small Rig. And that's a V-mount battery. And I've attached that to one of the arms on the 360 stand, and I can use that to power my laptop over USB-C. And I ended up buying 2 of those over the Christmas break or Black Friday or Cyber Week whichever one it was. And I ended up buying 2 of those so I can keep one on the charger and one on the stand and just keep things going the whole time. And then our third thing is the digital imaging workstation. That is the STA06040. And this would be primarily for photographers that want to handhold the camera, but also want to keep those accessories with them on the go and their laptop so they can keep tethering and make sure that they are getting the shots that they need. And tethering is also great if you haven't done it before or don't do it regularly, in order not, it's not just for you to make sure that you're getting the shots and doing the right thing. It also is a great way for you to make sure that your clients are happy as you're going, so that there are no surprises later when you send the proofs and they get upset. So I'm going to, in this hat,
I also wanted to add something.
Oh, please do. The 3 people
Yes,
are
I
just
wanted
dying at home.
Let them wait. I wanted to add something about a professional camera stand, the 360. Although it's a heavy-duty camera stand, it perfectly fits small studio. You may look at it and think, "Oh, it's big. I don't need it." No, it works perfect for small studios, and I'm a small studio owner, and it works amazingly here in my space.
Yeah, it's just about, I feel like it's about 6 feet tall or a little bit taller. It's just enough to give you what you need for height when photographing people, and it lets you get really low too. So it can hit all the bases. So great.
Okay, now you can continue.
Okay, so I've got 3 pieces of paper here in this hat that are all folded up. I cannot read what they say, and I am going to pull one at random out of the hat. The one that I pull out right now is going to win the Sidekick stand.
Ooh.
Okay, the winner is the boudoir shot. So the
Oh,
boudoir shot just won the Sidekick stand.
congratulations.
Great. Yes. Now I'm going to pull out of the hat again, and the winner here is going to get the 360 stand, and the one left in the hat is going to get the digital workstation. So let's see what it says. The product photographer has won the Sidekick stand. So congratulations. Yay. And then that means, of course, that the portrait photographer has won the digital workstation. So congratulations, everyone. So I want to thank everyone for participating in the photo contest. We probably will have another photo contest again because this one worked out really well. So again, congratulations to the winners. Congratulations to the giveaway winners. And thank you, Yuliya and Jeff, for helping me out with this contest. And with that, I guess we'll bid you all good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.